It's a blueprint, a rubric, a guiding light to meet deadlines. It's formulaic to these chords, so give us more of the norm. Come along, it's formulaic.
Hey, I'm Shelby.
And I'm James. And then you say, and welcome to Formulaic.
And welcome to Formulaic.
Woo! Episode. Yeah. Okay, Shelby, I do want to, right off the bat, people listen to episode 0, I hope, Scooby-Doo. I would like to pitch something to you. Technically, this is episode 1, or this is episode 2. Could we just keep saying it's episode 0 until someone hires us based off this show? Then I'll go back and change everything because then we succeeded in this podcast.
Yeah, I think every episode is episode 0 until we sell an episode and that becomes episode 1 and the next one we sell is episode 2. So it's the order will be all flippy flopped.
Or we do this. The first episode that we sell, we label that New Hope. Then when we get another sold, we change that to episode 4. Then episode 5 is the second one we sold, episode 6. The fourth one we sell, that's episode 1, and then 2, 3, and so on and so forth.
Okay, but where do we put in the Christmas special?
That would be in between, I believe, 1 or New Hope or Blue Harvest, whatever gets your fancies going, and Empire Strikes Back. But then we do like, oh, well, this is The Mandalorian, but it's the Peninsula Pals.
And can we get Chewbacca's grandma in
there? Just a horny grandfather as well, watching that pornography. Well, his grandson is present.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, man, I wish my grandfather would have gotten a boner around me.
Can you say that again?
It's already recorded. Would you like to introduce our guest?
I would. Today, our guest is someone I'm meeting for the very first time.
Yay.
Yay. It's Craig from It Takes Two to Toku.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Craig, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here on the first podcast, like episode 1. I'm in the pilot. I'm not really the pilot.
We just said this is episode 0, so I do have to jump in with a correction here.
It is again another pilot.
Craig did tell us that he is not nervous at all and has never been nervous to do anything in his entire life.
Public speaking, A-okay. Just absolutely just like cool as a fiddle.
A good thing this isn't to the public. It's pre-recorded. No one's hearing you, not even me. My headphones have been unplugged and I'm reading lips.
It's been very difficult to record podcasts with James because he refuses to plug in his headphones.
I'm fusing and lead ohms? What? I'm not sure what you just said, but what are we doing today, Shelby?
Today, we're doing what we do every episode, which is we're talking about a show that has a formula to it, and we're figuring out that formula, and then we're going to write an episode of that show.
And what are we doing today?
Oh, you mean specifically?
Yeah.
We're talking about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, James.
Power Rangers. Go, Power Rangers. And we've got an expert today. That's why Craig's here.
Now, Craig, you are an expert on Power Rangers.
I am a expert on, Power Rangers. Sorry, that was terrible. Yes, I'm an expert on Power Rangers.
Craig, that was fantastic.
Yep.
Do not sell yourself short.
You've seen every single episode.
I have. So I loved Power Rangers even before the first episode aired. When the toy commercials started going out, like a month before the first episode aired, I was like, what are these people turning into dinosaurs? I need to watch the show immediately. I need all the toys. I need it in my face immediately.
And what year was that?
Oh, God, you're really going to make me say it, aren't you? This was 1993.
Yeah, baby.
This was the summer before, oh my God. This was the summer before I went into 7th grade. Yes, and no, I was not like some super genius child who got into 7th grade and like 5 years old.
Yeah, I was like, wow, a toddler in 7th grade.
Yeah. No, I was your average, typical 7th grader. So whatever age you're in 7th grade. So like 12, maybe?
Yeah,
and
12.
I was
13.
obsessed with Power Rangers. Like around that time when you're supposed to be getting into sports and girls and stuff like that. Yeah, no, that was not happening. So Power Rangers all the way.
Fair. I was also very into Power Rangers all throughout the 90s, but I was born in 1990.
Age appropriate.
My older brother and I loved Power Rangers, would dress up as the Power Rangers for Halloween every year. My mom made our costumes.
Oh my God. That's
so
amazing.
I had a different Pink Ranger costume every year for like, oh God, I was like 5 years in a row as the Pink Ranger.
That's amazing. So were you Mighty Morphin?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where it started, yeah.
How long did you stick with it for?
Oh, you know what? I couldn't say. I don't remember that much of my childhood very well. I know that sounds like a bad thing.
That's why I'm here. I'm the expert.
Yeah, exactly. We need you here. James?
Well, in 93, I would have been 2 years old, and my bride to never be, my betrothed, wasn't even born yet. So,
did James really exist before Nicole was born?
no, I don't think so. So I was just a brain dead boy, probably still blue with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck.
Jesus.
God, I was this close, guys. This close to being dead. Those fuckers, this is why I'm also anti-doctor. They made me live.
Speaking of blue, that's one of the colors of the Power Rangers.
Yeah. My Power Rangers existence, I loved it as a child. I phased out of it around Lightspeed Rescue. I was like, I guess this is for babies. After someone on the playground said, oh, I don't watch Power Rangers, that's for babies. I was like, I guess it is. So I stopped watching it, but I watched from Mighty Morphin all the way through In Space or Lost Galaxy, and loved every minute of it. I would go home, watch Fox Kids, also watch that Sam and Max shit, that Monster Rancher shit. And then I have not watched it. The only show I still enjoy is Ninja Steel. Craig is very familiar with Nicole and I's fondness for that.
Awful season.
It's an amazing season, sir.
I remember the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, was like probably one of the first movies I remember going to see in the theaters.
So, funny story about that. So the movie came out 2 years after the show started. So if the audience at home is keeping up, so that's when Craig is going into 9th grade. So he's like 15 years old now, wanting to see the Power Rangers movie because he was still into Power Rangers. And he was too embarrassed to be seen online going to see Power Rangers. So he made his mom wait outside the theater by herself until the doors opened and then I could sneak in.
Wow.
So, yeah. So around the time when James stopped watching because it was for babies, I was like cowering in the corner so I could sneak in with my mom.
What's it like to have that kind of power over your mom?
It feels pretty good, I'm not going to lie. But youngest child, so I get to do whatever I want.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it explains a lot.
I was the youngest child, and the only time I ever got to do whatever I wanted was when my brother and sister were abusing drugs, and my family was just like, oh, we need to focus on these two children. I hope it doesn't also affect James too much, but no, I think I turned out okay.
Yeah, you're the most normal person I've ever met.
On the movie, I had a similar thing. The summer the Powerpuff Girls movie came out, my brother and I were like, Dad, we have to fucking see this. And I don't think my dad had watched it with us. So he didn't know, because if he had, he'd be like, oh, this is for boys. It's not for girls. But the only way we were able to see it is we went to a drive-in that would always have double features, and he could probably just be like, we're going to see Scooby-Doo and the Powerpuff Girls. But hey, it's Scooby-Doo up front.
Nice. I loved going back and watching this show for this podcast, watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because I was like, yeah, no wonder I liked this when I was a kid. It's so structured. It's so much fun. It's colorful. It's simple. The only thing I noticed looking back on it is I think the Power Rangers are kind of bullies. I know that Bulk and Skull are bullies, but they're real mean to them.
Yeah, Bulk and Skull are the most tame bullies that ever existed. They just really want to be friends, and yeah, the Power Rangers aren't having it.
Yeah, the Power Rangers could have just ignored these guys, but instead they tormented them.
No, the Bulk and Skull are shit heels, guys. I saw them cartoonishly hang Billy upside down to shake change out of him, then threw him in at least the recycling, but still threw him away.
At least they recycled him. That's right. So we could use him again.
Bulk and Skull are mean. Did all of us watch the one where she was flying with her uncle?
Yes.
They are shit in that. They bullied their way into this airplane situation and effectively made it harder for her to deal with this because she couldn't morph her uncle, was she flirting with her uncle at the end of that episode? This is fucking insane. My first note while watching this was, one, this show made billions of dollars. How? And it has to be the Sentai footage of it all, because the stuff that isn't Sentai footage, you're like, this without that would have been delegated to the USA channel during the day, and it would have been a blip. It would have been like Black Scorpion, but for kids.
The script is horrible.
Oh yeah, the directing is just atrocious. It makes these capable actors seem like they have never seen a camera.
That's true.
Are they capable actors, though?
Yeah.
I hope so. I don't believe that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is an accurate depiction of how well these people can act. Because they'll say Triceratops, and they look Billy's looking off camera somewhere. You have no idea, he has no idea what he's doing. Yeah. He just was told to say the word Triceratops. It's pretty funny.
It's baffling. Truly baffling.
You see sometimes stuff on Twitter that's Sentai footage versus Power Rangers footage, and even if it's a still image, the Sentai camera people and the people behind the scenes knew how to structure a shot. So people were standing in frames where they should have been standing, and so everyone could be seen. Whereas Power Ranger footage, a still image was just they were on top of each other at awkward angles, and you couldn't see everyone. It was just I think they kind of didn't know what they were doing, and they would do they wouldn't get permits for filming, so they just go to the park in LA and just jump out of a van and do some crazy shots, and then just jump back in the van and drive away.
That's how the show made so much money, because they didn't pay for any of the the professionals or the permits or anything that they needed.
Yeah, this show was so non-union, it was anti-union. That's not a lie.
Yeah.
It's baffling. It was predatory in the beginning. They intentionally found actors who didn't have that much going on, and then they kind of strong-armed them into saying, either take this contract that you're getting paid. For the first season, one of them said they got paid $60,000 for 48 episodes.
Wow.
That's crazy. I mean, I would take $60,000, but
yeah, I'll take crazy. It. I'm not going to say no.
But they also weren't getting paid residuals for reruns. So it's insanely fucked up.
Yeah, and not getting a cut for their likenesses on action figures and stuff.
Could you imagine having an action figure of you? Actually, Craig, if you had an action figure of you, what would the selling point be?
Kung Fu Grip, but I'm not going to tell you where I'm using it.
Oh, okay. Mine would probably just be like waving hello. I'm such a friendly person.
I would have a microphone and headphones on and like a finger to my lips saying shh, because I'm trying to find the hum in this fucking room and isolate it. So I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, that makes sense for you. No one buys the James action figure.
Some people would.
You're a shelf warmer, James.
No.
I hate to break it to you.
They need you to complete the collection, but they're not getting an extra one of James to take out of the box and play with.
No, they're getting an extra one so they can jam it into a jar.
Oh no, James! Every podcast you're on, you have to talk about action figures in a jar.
I gots to, guys. Do you want to get into the formula of this show?
Absolutely, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, Shelby, what did you write down for this formula?
All right, so this show, every episode starts out, the gang are Angel Grove teenagers. They're having fun doing some specific thing. Either someone made an invention, or someone's throwing a party, or someone else made an invention, or they're playing volleyball, just any kind of random fun thing. Then Rita Repulsa is like, they're doing something fun? Nuh-uh. No way. I'm going to send down a monster. And then they pick some specific monster from their little book, and they briefly tell you with one shot, the smallest, shortest shot imaginable, what this monster did on some other planet. Mm-hmm. They're like, remember when we used this monster to blah, blah, blah. The monster goes, starts messing stuff up. The teens get transported off to Zordon. Alpha's like, ay. And then they go fight the monster. Then the monster gets big. And then they get into their big mech guy, and then they beat the monster, and then they go finish the fun thing that they were doing at the beginning of the show.
That's pretty much exactly what I had written down, except for initially they fight the monster, but they fail to defeat it, and then they either learn or just luck into their weakness to defeat them, and then the mech battle defeat wraps up the activity they had going on in the beginning.
It is a very basic structure, but it leaves a lot of room for the most ridiculous things imaginable.
Yeah.
Like in the Punks episode, where the cure to Billy and Kimberly being turned into punks is a singing squash.
Yeah, I remember just how much cooler in the Sentai version the like badness was, because they become like Yakuza members, right?
Yeah. They bring like guns to school and stuff.
What? That's way cooler.
It's fucking
in
nuts.
this one, they're just like, Kimberly's just trying to date Skull, and they're just saying kind of mean stuff, and they dress different.
I would just like to clarify, I'm just thinking, yeah, they're so cool. They bring guns to school. I would like to clarify that it is not cool to bring guns to school.
Yeah, no.
But in the context of the show.
It's cool in a show when teens bring guns to school. It's not cool in real life.
It probably, wasn't even school. They were just carrying guns, becoming gangsters.
Yeah.
It makes sense. There are a lot of shows where guns were cut out for the like American versions. Like I know there's an episode of Pokemon or something that had a gun in it, and they took that out for the American audiences, and now look at us. But we don't have to talk about gun violence in our country. We can talk about fun stuff, like these ideas for monsters that I have for our episode.
Yes, let's run down that, and then we have to figure out, because each episode is a specific character's episode, like it's their focus. Yeah. So we'll have to figure that out once we find out what monster they're going up against.
Okay, so just gonna hit you with some names.
All right.
You guys, bear with me here. I thought real long and hard about these. Okay, we've got Mop Man.
All right.
We have Knife Head.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sneaky Snake.
Like it?
A Big Tooth.
Just like...
Is that the name, or that's just what he is?
Yes.
Mr. Molar.
We've got No Pants, Tractor Trailer, Finger Stinger, Boo Bug, and Angela.
Some of these are like vaguely sexual.
What?
No Pants and then like the Finger Stinger or whatever.
No Pants doesn't have to be sexual. It could just be someone trying to record a podcast in a hot room.
Okay, all right. I think the big tooth and just call it Mr. Molar or something like that. That could be good.
Mr. Molar? Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
he's
then-
just a big tooth.
Oh, so then we can go off from like someone's vanity, like, oh, I have a dead tooth, or oh, my tooth got knocked out, I'm ugly. That would be a Kimberly episode. It could be a Billy episode where he's trying to explain dental hygiene to a child in school because they have some science fair or just whatever fucking project that he could have. It could be, I think those are the only two that I can pigeonhole teeth into.
You didn't have any ideas for Mop Man, James?
Okay, Mop Man. Yeah, I'm guessing like a mop or like a big old hair.
You know, it could be either.
Okay, so if it's someone who mops, it could be like Rocky just took they're taking those career placement tests and he gets janitor and he's like, oh, fuck, man, I'm going to be a goddamn custodian specialist. And then Mop Man comes and he's like, oh, no, it's kind of like when Billy's called stupid, he gets a B and they say that's for like, what do they call it, Craig?
Oh, God. Which episode is this?
Billy,
B?
yeah, Billy gets a B and then Bulk and Skull says, you know what, B? Oh, B stands for bad, I think.
Probably, because they were such terrible bullies.
Yeah.
They called him bad?
Heartless.
Ouch.
So, like, that could relate to one of them, like, oh, I suck at this. I need to be a mop man now. And you kind of have to beat your own demons. And then you find out, well, this is just a career placement. Like, this doesn't really have anything to do with anything. Everyone knows you're going to defraud the government and go to prison in the future. Yes. Yes.
Or maybe everyone got janitor on their test.
Oh, yeah. That would be good. Like, that's how we find... Oh, no, yeah, just all 5 of them get janitor, and we find out that the test is bad at the end because Bulk and Skull got, like, novelist and, I don't know, what's a smart job? Tech
Rocket
wizard.
Scientist. Wizard. Yeah, wizard. They got wizard.
No, tech wizard.
Oh, no, I like wizard. I would, if I took a career placement exam and the answer was wizard, I literally would have been the happiest person in the world.
Hell yeah.
But then maybe they meet the janitor at the end of the episode, and that's like the special lesson that they learn that, like, hey, it's kind of hard being a janitor, so maybe Rocky, that's not so bad for you.
Yeah, or the janitor could get, like, kidnapped, and they're like, oh no, the school's so bad without the janitor. It's such an important job.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like mess all over the place, and when Bulk and Skull put Billy in the recycle bin, it's just like overflowing now.
Yeah, and there's no one to get him out.
It also has just like actual trash in there.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a real thing that happened to me when I was cleaning offices. I would clean an outpatient office, and one time I put the trash in, pushed it down, and noticed, good thing it didn't stab me, there was a needle in there. And I'm like, I got so pissed. And then it happened again. I was like, if this happens again, I'm just walking off the job. Whoever is doing this should be fired. There is a specific trash that none of us even use because it's biohazardous waste. So we could do something like that where there's needles in the trash can, the recycling.
Yeah, I love throwing needles in a trash can for this kids show that we're writing.
It's the Angel Grove Needle Exchange.
Yeah.
Let's just run out of the high school. Yeah.
Or it's in the juice bar and someone's really getting some juice, baby.
Oh, yeah, look at those muscles. James, what kind of steroids do you use?
Oh, I use steroids called body dysmorphia.
All right. So we've got, I mean, Mop Man sounds like we've got a big tooth. We've got Mr. Molar or Mop Man. Both sound like pretty promising villains or monsters that Rita and her goons can send down.
Yeah, let's do Mop Man. And whose episode? Should it be Jason's?
Yeah.
And
Let's do a Jason episode.
He got janitor, and he's like, no, I always thought I'd own a karate station, but my real dream is to defraud the government and go to prison.
Yeah, we'll have him say that multiple times.
Yeah. Oh, man, I just really hope a pandemic happens so I can defraud the government for millions.
I think that's a great idea because a lot of these episodes, they're very top heavy. Like, you don't even get to the fighting till like later in the episode. You have so much going on with this first part where there's just some sort of thing happening.
Yeah.
So we can see them taking the test, taking this career test. Like, we'll see, Billy's like, thinking real hard, writing these things down. And Kimberly's doing, her putting little dotting her eyes with hearts or whatever. And, everyone's got their personalities.
I think
and then,
what should happen is maybe they're getting out of the class and it coincides with career day. So you're also able to meet different career people. They meet the janitor and they're like, oh, fuck that. We don't want to be a janitor. And then they get the placement test back and they're like, you should actually be meeting with a janitor, guys. All 5 of you custodians.
Okay, that's a great idea. So what about it is, why do we think that they'll kidnap the janitor? Like, why does Rita want the janitor? Because I know she kidnapped a child who invented a stupid roller coaster VR headset. So for his intelligence, like, what are they going to get out of the janitor? Like, what's her motivation for kidnapping a janitor?
I can only think of like rated R things of like, yeah, knows how to make bombs with toilet bowl cleaner, or oh yeah, he created a new solution or actually this would be good. He created a solution that breaks down like oils and whatnot, and she realizes she can use that using like Mop Man can use that to like corrode buildings and just instantly dissolve them.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. So she she sees them talking to the janitor during this career day thing. So we've got the kids. They come out of the test and they're like, wow, that sure was quite an interesting test we just took. I wonder what our results will be. Let's go talk to the career people. And maybe they end up spending some time at the janitor table. He shows them his new solution, and and they're like, wow, we don't want to be a janitor.
Yeah.
And Rita sees all this and is like, I need that solution.
So they're walking out of the test, going to career day. Or maybe they walk out of the test, they go to career day, and then the like when you go to audition for a school play, they're like, oh, the results have been posted on the bulletin board. They see that and they're like, oh, we have to report to janitor. They go back and he's been kidnapped.
Yes.
What's up, Craig?
No, love it.
Who else, like what other careers could they see to be like, oh, I want to go talk to them. Oh, I want to go talk to them.
Maybe like a airline pilot or like
Zach definitely wants to be an airline pilot. Billy gonna go to like the brain surgeon. Like, it's not even gonna be doctor, it's just gonna be brain surgeon or rocket scientist. Kim's gonna go to the gymnastics thing. There's like a Olympic gymnast there. So she's gonna talk to her. Trini is going to want to talk to
maybe her famous kung fu scientist uncle.
Yes.
I have a hard time getting a read on Trini's character. Like, I feel like they don't give her as much to do as the other people.
Yeah. She's and that was a big frustration with her, the actress, was because she felt all her role was just translating what Billy was saying.
Yeah.
So, like, Billy would say like something like insane, and then Trini would be like explain it to the rest of the cast. And yeah, that was a big point of contention for her, because she doesn't really get
Fair.
fleshed out a lot. Yeah.
So we should give her more to do. We'll give her a lot of lines in our episode.
I do think Jason, just Arnie or Ernie, whatever his name is, he's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to just like talk to him because he has the job that I want.
Ernie, the juice bar owner?
Running
Yeah.
the juice bar.
And and this gym, he's like, yeah, I could get yoked all the time.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so that's what they're doing in the career day. They're talking to those people.
So let's try and outline the episode, and then we'll go through and find dialogue and whatnot. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
All right, so they talk to the janitor. We got the airline pilot, brain surgeon, gymnast, kung fu scientist, famous uncle, and then Ernie. I think at this moment, Bulk and Skull, they come in. What are they doing?
They want to talk to like a Hollywood agent. They want to go to Hollywood because they just think they're just like so perfect.
All right, I'm fine with that.
But I'm open to suggestions.
No, I
What
like
were you going to say,
that.
Shelby?
I think that they're yeah, they want to do something cool. Like they're like, we should be on the screen or whatever. Or I was gonna say that they didn't want jobs. Like they're like, we're gonna freeload off the government.
All right, so then test results posted. All 5 janitors go back. He has been stolen. I guess the janitor should explain when they meet. He's like, oh, come over here. I just created this new solution. It's the best ever, and it's organic and cool and secreted from a possum or something. And, we're possum secretion.
Possum secretion. Yeah, definitely add that in the notes.
Yeah, so his solution cleans dirty water. So like he mops the floor and it's dirty water in his bucket, and then he adds the solution and cleans it. Rita Repulsa wants to like destroy that solution because she wants Earth to be polluted, and she doesn't want that. Spill out the dirty water everywhere.
That's so much better than just dissolving shit.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so we're while they're talking to all these things. I'm guessing they have different, like, we're flashing from one thing to another. So we'll have like partly, part of the scene of them talking to the janitor, part of them talking to the airline pilot. We're kind of moving through these and going back and forth. And then after that whole thing, after they finish and they're like, wow, what a thing, let's go check our results. Then we're going to cut to Rita, and she's going to be like looking through her telescope and seeing like the solution that the janitor made. And she's like, we got to help with that. Or like, I'm trying to think of a word for undo. How do you Control-C a person?
Murder?
Yeah, murder. That's it.
So after he's stolen, they go to Zordon. He says, hey, teens, I love you. Go fight my war.
Go be my child soldiers.
Yeah.
And don't forget about Alpha, because I'm upset. Anytime I see a little weird robot in something, I'm like, that's me. That's the Shelby insert.
Alpha truly is so fucking hot. Like, I don't know why, but recently I'm like, Alpha does it for me. If Nicole cosplayed as like it just as in normal human clothing but looked like kind of like Disney bounding but as Alpha 5, I'd be like, oh my, this is doing it for me, Nicole.
Alpha's got curves.
Yeah. Alpha got that thick ass.
Yeah, for sure.
Aye.
Explains Mop Man, and then I guess they fight. I feel like this could, or I guess they need to rescue the janitor.
First would be the civilian fight with the putties. That's the first fight that you have to have. So they have the janitor in the park, and then they do a civilian fight.
So maybe they're going to see the janitor, and like once they get to the janitor, that's when the putties are there, and they have to fight him, and they of course fail to keep the janitor from being kidnapped.
All right, hell yeah. And then they rescue the janitor after talking to Alpha 5 and Zordon. Then where should Mop Man be based out of? There could be a cave. I guess it could be because they have Sentai footage at that big old dam. Could we do it? We just say that's the water treatment plant.
Perfect.
All right, hell yeah. Rescue janitor, water treatment. You ever been to a water treatment plant?
No, I can't say that I have. Have you?
Yeah, Boy Scouts, we went there to just find out how water gets cleaned. That was pretty cool. And then I went again in high school to just for biology class to find out like really how it's done. And man, those places smell like shit.
We can write that in. Someone will have a line about how bad it smells.
And
Kim going like, P.U.
And then Billy explains like, oh, well, actually, this is a good thing.
That's the algae breaking down the poo.
Yes, perfect.
They rescue the janitor from water treatment, big battle, and then go back to school, find out test results were wonky. And then there we go. We have the outline, I think.
Yeah, and I think the janitor should say something like, you know, you kids can be whatever you want to be. I chose to be a janitor after I retired from being a, you know, very accomplished accountant or something like that. Because it was his passion.
He's like, well, first I was a biologist. Like, that's how I know, or a chemist. That's how I knew how to make this stuff. And I guess I'm more of a janitor because I want to clean the world. And then you throw in that PC woke pollution bullshit.
Oh, yeah, we hate that PC woke pollution bullshit. These social justice warriors trying to keep our air and water clean so that we can keep living on this beautiful planet. Horrible.
As I always say, get that political shit out of my tokusatsu. Craig's like, Jesus Christ, that's all tokusatsu is, guys.
It's all about saving the planet and like protecting smiles.
So let's get into it. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it. We've got interior school hallway.
Hell yeah. Interior school hallway. Camera zooms in on our 5 Rangers getting out of what appeared to be a sweaty, rumptuous test.
Yeah, so we've got one of them being like, wow, there sure were a lot of questions in that job test. Yeah, career placement test.
Yeah, we'll have Zach say that, and then let's have Trini say something like super smart, then Billy has to translate it.
Okay, so she'll say like something about how hard she thought about all of her answers. So like, I was very introspective with my solutions to each of the predicaments placed before us in this exam.
Yeah, and then Jason and Zach look confused towards one another as if they've never heard the English language. Then Billy looks at them and says,
she thought really hard about her answers.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, but I was like, how do I make this even more simplified? But no, that's as simple as it can get.
Perfect. So then they should say maybe something they hope they get. Like, I hope mine shows that I'm gonna, you know, be a gymnast like I want to be. You know, we'll have Kim say something.
Yeah, Kimberly, parenthetical, hopeful. I sure do hope I get gymnast. I don't know how that would be on the test and why they would place me in that. They didn't ask any physicality questions, but boy, oh boy, can I hope, because that'd be morph-nominal.
She does say morph-nominal a lot.
And I want to...
No one else does.
I want to punch the script every single time. Not punch it up, just literally punch the script every time that's in there.
Someone get James a piece of paper so he can put his fist through it.
Okay.
And then so we've got that set up. We know that they just came out of this test. They're like, hey, while we wait for our answers, let's go check out the booths at the career day.
Hell yeah.
And then they go do 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 do.
So
do, do, do.
At this moment, Craig, would they still be in school or do you think they would be going to the community center?
So as the Power Rangers expert, I can say that to this day, I still have no idea the juice bar's relationship with the school. Because, like, I feel like when you're in the juice bar, you can kind of see lockers, like, outside in the hallway. But, like, is that the locker room? Or is it the school? Like, is the juice bar the cafeteria of the school? I literally have no idea. I don't think anyone fully grasps the concept of what a school is, what a juice community center bar is, and how those two relate to each other. I don't have an answer for you.
Then for this script, we should put that in. But hey, guys, the juice bar is the cafeteria of the soul. But I was like, that's in my head. I need to say that. We should just be like, stage direction. They start walking into a corridor. Then interior juice bar, school, daytime. They're like, oh man, I love that the juice bar is so close to our homeroom.
Yeah, and they could talk about how they're not sure if it's technically school property or not.
Yeah, they could say like, it's crazy how if I were to just start screaming, the police will arrest me here, but just in this other corridor, I'll have detention.
And then they can talk about a few things they might do to get arrested.
Yeah, Jason says, yeah, if I were to, like, I don't know, defraud the government in the juice bar, holy shit, I'd go to prison. But over here, ISS, in-school suspension.
Perfect. So, and then he'll be like, hey, I'm going to go talk to Ernie because he has the job I want.
Yeah.
So he goes over there, and then he can be like, hey, Ernie, so is this juice bar school property or not?
And Ernie just deflects.
Yeah, he'll start talking about literally anything else.
Yeah, he says, oh, yeah, took a long time for me to move out all the workout equipment so the school-sponsored fair could be at my juice bar in the community center.
Yeah, but is it in the school or not?
Ernie, parenthetical, starting to schwitz. Would really have loved your help. I'm sweating because it was so difficult for me, a one-man employee of this school-sanctioned area that isn't or is the school. Who cares? I could have really used your guys' helps.
Great. Okay, so then we also have, let's see, Zach talking to an airline pilot.
Okay, yeah, he walks up and he says, some hip-hop music is playing because they loved to do that. He's like, hey, man, you like being an airplane pilot?
No, I hate it. I never get to see my wife and child. And it's so hard not to have affairs in every city I go to.
Oh, man, that'll be easy for me because no woman's ever locking me down. I'm a free spirit.
This episode brought to you by Spirit Airlines.
Ooh. Spirits for Spirit.
Yeah, they need it.
We're getting this is a fucked up episode, guys. So then let's flash over to Billy. He goes to a booth and it's just like a bunch of brains in jars. And they're green, they're oozy, and he says, oh, indubitably, this is where I would like to be.
You can tell from all of the wrinkles in the brains that these were very intelligent individuals. Like me, Billy.
And then brain surgeon, oh, kid, you want to get into surgeon, do ya? And then in the background, one of them pops a can of Surge.
Oh, man, we've got a lot of sponsors in this episode.
We have to. We're non-union. We gotta find
placement.
Goddamn resources. So he's like, hey, would you like to be a surgeon? And then Billy says, it's a dream of mine to just help the world with my hands. And then someone in the other booth is a carpenter, and he says, oh, hey, I know how you can do that. And then he goes, oh, not like that, baby soft, points at hands.
That's good. I think meanwhile, like throughout all of this, they're walking, around and the janitor's just sitting there. No one's coming to his booth. And he's like, does anyone want to check out this solution I made? It cleans dirty water. Look at this. And we see that happening as the audience, but everyone's just kind of like walking past him and not caring that he's made this.
He has like a little trowel. Is that what you call a small shovel?
A trowel? Yeah.
A trowel. Yeah. He's just like, puts some dirt into a cup of water, then puts his solution in there, shakes it up, and then, it's like, wee, 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 and then it's a cut from one to the clean water like they did in the Power Punks. It's red, and then it's clear, and then it's red again. And then he drinks it, and he says, see, it made this dirty water clean.
And people are just looking at him like, ugh.
They're like, oh, gross. You drink pee-pee water too, you perv? They don't say perv.
Okay, so what are we going to say? What's this gymnast and the famous uncle going to say?
So Kimberly goes up and there's, there can't be actually, or I guess there could be a gymnast there. That's what the show
like
is.
A fashion designer or like a athletics something.
A representative of the UN. Because doesn't she go into politics?
Sure. Craig?
That was Jason, Trini, and Zach went into the World Peace Program when they had to be written out of the show.
Yeah, because they wanted a living wage for this show. Then what does Kimberly do? Just gymnastics? That's all she's about?
Pretty much. I mean, she might have played the guitar for a little while too. Didn't she play the guitar for a while?
Okay.
I know Amy Jo Johnson does. She plays the guitar, so. She might have done had a few songs in there, but that might have been later seasons.
I have an idea. Maybe there's a gymnast, and she's there. She's in her like suit, those suits that they wear.
A leotard?
No, the zip up with the jacket and the pants over it, where and she's talking about how difficult it is to be a gymnast. And Kimberly's like, okay. And she's going on. She's like, you have to get up every day. You can't have friends. You can't have lovers. You can't have enemies. You can't have, you have to be your own friend, lover, and enemy. You get up at, 4 a.m. You go to sleep at 3 a.m. and just talk about how hard it is. And Kimberly's just like nodding and like, seems a little overwhelmed.
So then we can pan over to Trini. Trini like nudges her and says, sounds a lot like being a Power Ranger. And they have a little chuckle and like a longing look towards each other. And then
I do ship them. I think they would be a really cute couple.
I ship Bulk and Skull. I ship Alpha and me. Whatever. Then it pans over, and then Trini knows when she gets out of high school, she's got shit settled. She doesn't have to worry. So she's just hanging out with her famous karate scientist uncle, whose name is, I believe, Howard, and she's just chatting it up, saying like, hey, uncle, what you working on? And he says, I'm working on a brand new invisible potion, because this is before that episode.
Okay, great. And he's like, but it's not ready to show yet. And that's when Bulk and Skull come in and be like, you're famous. We are going to be famous too.
And maybe they're like, invisible potion? I wouldn't mind drinking some of that. And then they drink it, and what would it do to them?
It just tastes real bad.
Oh, okay. That's good.
They're like, I was going to sneak into the girls' locker rooms.
Oh, perverts, but I like their way of thinking.
And as they're racing over to the juice bar to get like a smoothie to get the taste out of their mouth, they knock over the janitor's water thing.
Oh, yeah.
The janitor has to stay behind and clean up after the fair. And that's how he can get kidnapped.
Oh my God, we're so good at writing TV.
Hell yeah.
Okay, perfect. So from there we cut to Rita looking through her telescope, and she's saying, that janitor's potion can clean water. We can't have that happening. I want the world as dirty as my voice.
I like that. I want children to kill themselves. Okay, so the Sentai version of Rita Repulsa Bandora does say that in one of the episodes.
Okay, because it sounded like a non sequitur from you, James.
No, this is a real thing that I watched on TV.
Great. So what's the name of the guy who's always he's making the monsters?
That's Finster.
Finster. She's like, Finster, what can we do to counteract this janitor's good?
Make me a monster that can steal that potion or something.
And pollute more while he's at it.
Perfect.
We need a yin to this yang, Finster. And then Finster says, yes, ma'am, I know exactly the monster to get. Remember when we were on planet C83 and they had water as pure as Christianity?
I love how both of our episodes so far have had people named Howard and the purity of Christianity just shining through them.
And he says, oh, our friend Mop Man was able to really defile that pureness. And then she says, yes, let's get Mop Man out of here.
Perfect. And he's like, well, I'm on it or whatever. And we get to see, he flips through the book. Of course, we see the picture of Mop Man. And he looks I'm thinking kind of like, those dogs that look like mops?
Yeah.
He's got covered in fur like that, kind of like a Cousin It type, but with more mop shaped.
Yeah.
And when you squeeze him, dirty water comes out.
Yeah.
So he squeezes himself.
And like a ponytail coming out of the back, it's just a mop handle, like a very short mop handle out of the back of his head.
Perfect.
Love it.
Okay, great. So then we go back to the school/community center, and our fearless teens are like, oh, the results have posted. Let's go check. And then they're all janitors.
Yeah, so Billy says, oh, let me look. I'm the one with the perfect vision when I have my glasses on, indubitably. And then action cut to him his fingers going down the list, and he sees his name, looks over, custodian? What? And then they're like, get out of here. That doesn't seem right, but I got to see what I'm all about. Zach goes in and he's like, come on, give me airline pilot, airline. Wait, what? Janitor? Huh? And then Jason's like, come on, get out of here. I'm going to own a juice bar and, maybe a little bit of embezzlement from our United States of America. Goes down, sees like other people have embezzler, juice bar owner, embezzler. Then, what? Custodian? And then they're like, what is going on? And then the girls are like, you three jocks. And then like Billy's like, I have no idea what they mean by that towards me. And then Trini's like, let me see what they might just say N-A next to mine because the world is my oyster. And then maybe Billy says, oh, I don't want to live in that world because I'm allergic to oysters because he's a nerd ass. And she's going down. You see a couple N-As, maybe one kung fu scientist, and then custodian. And then Kim's like, oh, if you four, what hopes do I have? And she's just like, zooms back in and she's just blindly pointing at it. And then she like points and then she looks and it says world-class model. And she's like, oh, thank God, that's gotta be me. Bulk and skull? World-class models? And then she finds her janitor, and hers was highlighted for some weird reason.
Perfect. And then before they can like debrief and talk to each other about it, they're like, some teacher is like, all right, everyone, report to your assigned, career specialist for the second part of the day. And that's when they try to go find the janitor.
So interior juice bar, maybe school grounds. They see, oh, this was in disarray previously because, so stage notes, camera pans to them walking into the juice bar from school, sees janitor booth in disarray. Oh, hey, he must not be back from getting paper towels because his stuff's still messed up. And they're like, wait a second, there's a roll of paper towels right there. Really, what is happening? And they notice it's not dirt like he had. It's kind of this clayness. And they're like, oh, wait, that's what putties is.
Okay, yeah, I think that, or maybe someone was like, oh, I saw the janitor heading out to the soccer fields or whatever, because they want to be outside for a putty fight, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
so they're going out there and they see, maybe they even catch like Mop Man taking the janitor into the woods or something.
Yeah.
And that's when the putties drop in and they're fighting them.
Can the person say like, oh, the janitor went outside to the soccer field because he needed brand new dirt. He didn't want to use the dirt off the ground in here after Bulk and Skull. And it's like, wait, well, it's dirt. I don't understand
He needed
this.
better dirt, yeah.
You didn't want sweaty dirt because people are working a sweat in there.
That dirt doesn't hold sweat well.
It doesn't hold sweat well. Yes. So yeah, we should also establish that like the juice bar is kind of messy at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Like the school's getting kind of messy after the career day. So we'll say that in the scene description, you know. The tables are kind of knocked over, there's stuff on the floor, and they're like, wow, I can't believe the janitor's going to have to clean this up later, you know.
And
Sucks to be him.
also in the background, Bulk and Skull, they're like, "Whoop, whoop," and then they throw up because they had drank that invisible potion. So now like, oh, that needs some sawdust on it, but it won't get cleaned.
So there's just going to be a pile of puke in the corner.
Yes, it's alluded to. We never see it.
Good. Okay. All right. So when we're in the soccer field, there's they're like, oh no, putties. They're fighting them. And they're like, oh, the janitor's getting kidnapped. Whatever. Then they have to go to Zordon.
Yes. Well, let's get some dialogue in here for them
Okay.
going out. So exterior day soccer field.
Even though it looks nothing like a soccer field, it just looks like a generic park in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. Hell
It's like,
yeah, hell yeah.
like a soccer field in sight.
We know it's a soccer field because there is a soccer ball on the ground.
There's one soccer ball on the ground.
And like a single, just like it's not connected anywhere. They were hoping that the camera shot wouldn't reveal that a chalk line is not a full square. It's just like a chalk line that goes maybe 20 feet, but the camera wasn't panned to make it seem like it went on forever.
So you can see the ends
Yes.
of the line. Perfect. And so maybe Jason picks up the soccer ball and he's like, well, here's the soccer field, but where's the janitor?
Oh, and then like you see a trowel just like
Right.
dug into the ground, a slight hole because they don't want to get in real big trouble. They don't have permits.
Perfect. And then Trini, because we want her to have something to do, she's like, wait, is that him over there? He's being dragged into the woods or whatever. And we see, you know, the janitor going, wah, and Mop Man's got him squeezed up.
And then Billy says, oh, let me take a look. You know I have perfect vision because of my glasses, indubitably.
Excellent. Then Kimberly's like, we have to go rescue him. But then the putties drop in.
Yeah, and then ADR is Kimberly saying, oh no, guys. Billy says, this sure is I don't know any soccer terms. What's a soccer term?
Offsides.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, those putties are offsides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Zach kicks one in the head and says, goal.
Yeah. I love it. Perfect.
How about this penalty kick?
Ooh, I like that. Maybe one putty gets kicked 3 times, like gets kicked from one to another, and they say, that's what we call a hat trick.
Do they call that in soccer too? I get soccer and hockey confused, to be honest.
I think because they're both goals, you can call them hat tricks.
All right. So they beat the the putties go away or whatever. They beat them. And they go back into the school. So we're back to interior school. And it's even messier now.
Oh, no.
It's like, there's garbage on the floors and the hallways. And, Kim is like, this is horrible. What are we going to do? And someone's like, or Jason's like, I think it's time to talk to Zordon.
Yeah. And then we also see Bulk and Skull. They saw that they were going to be world-class models, and I think we should start a witchamadoo. They keep getting covered in trash, and an agent sees them and thinks that's like some avant-garde shit, but it's just them being slobs. So eventually at the end of the episode, when the janitor comes back, he cleans them. We find out that the janitor is kind of like their mother who like wipes off their face and all that bullshit. And then they're like, wait, no, don't do it this time. Weep. They're clean. And then the agent comes back and says, oh, you guys are just normal men.
Yeah, I'm thinking they have like candy bar wrappers like stuck to their skin.
Yeah.
Like, when there's chocolate left on a candy bar wrapper and you can stick it to your body? Anyone ever do that?
I mean, I never have because I eat all of my food with utensils. I would never, ever do that to my own skin.
Yeah, I've never done it either. Okay, so then they go to Zordon. And Zordon's so full of himself. Yeah,
that dude sucks.
So, Craig, let's hit us with a good, Zordon saying. What do we got for his voice? What's he going to say to them?
Oh, boy.
Low stakes. You can say the dumbest shit you could even think of, and it'll be perfect.
Sorry, cut this out.
He always starts with Rangers, and then he's probably going to explain Mop Man to him.
Rangers, we've run afoul of Mop Man, who
Rangers, we've run afoul of Mop Man, who I've an insidious force I fought in the past.
Actually, I didn't fight. It was, again, teenagers I forced this job on.
They died that time, but it's okay. You're not going to.
Luckily, Christ was there to apprehend him. The blasphemy of him trying to destroy that pure water on C384 or whatever it was called.
The only way to defeat him is by hugging him so hard you squeeze out all of his bad liquid.
You must purify him. Here, take these Bibles to soak up his water.
James, you're always trying to make this a Christian podcast.
Hey, Bible paper is very spongent, guys.
Spongent?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Craig, I don't know is this offensive to you?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
And also, sorry for putting you on the spot. I forget.
Oh my goodness, no,
not
it's okay.
everyone is used to doing this shit all the time. Okay, so we gotta have Alpha be like, okay, so Zordon will be like, Alpha, supply the Rangers with all of the Bibles they need.
Oh, and then Alpha is in a little Mormon outfit.
He's got the Mormon underwear with the long sleeves.
Wait, the underwear?
He pulls out a box from behind the command center with all the Bibles, and then he pulls out of the box a sheet with a hole in it, and it's like, oh no, you don't need this. This is not we don't need this now.
That's for a different monster.
Oh no, guys.
The monster of fornication.
Yeah. You have to bring them to climax through a hole in a sheet.
We're not putting that in the episode. I transcribed this. I'm not adding that part in. I will add the hole in the sheet, but not James's part. Okay.
These junior Bibles hold sweat well.
So then they're like, according to my, whatever, they're at the water treatment plant. And so Rangers go, Zordon's all like, Rangers, go to the water treatment plant and absorb the Mop Man with the purity of the new living version, or the new international version of the New Testament.
The mech battle has to have the Megazord with a giant ass Bible and just goes conk and just bashes
Squeezes
him.
it out.
Yeah. Oh my God. I can't wait to get to that.
That's great. Well, we're almost there.
The Bible that the giant robot is holding is like clearly written in Japanese because in the Sentai footage it's really just like a spell book.
Yeah.
But we still refer to it as the Holy Bible.
And every time they say Bible or Christianity, like maybe the first time that they wrote this episode, it was just like a book. So every time it's Bible or Christianity or any of that, it's like 80 yard over and you can really tell.
Because the parents who were against the violence in this show was like, you need a good, clean message. And they're like, the cleanest message, at least in America, to shut these Karens up is Christianity.
There we go. So they transport to the water treatment plant and they're like, the janitor's like tied up somewhere or whatever. And, Mop Man is like, whoa, we're gonna make him watch as I pollute all of this water.
And he's crying tears. He's like, maybe he's gagged with like a dirty rag that has just disgusting water sopped up in it.
James, you nasty.
Yeah, dude.
You're a freak.
And also he should look dirty as well, like he had been thrown in dirty water.
Perfect.
Oh,
okay.
Maybe to make it comedic, like he's James Bond style hanging in a chair that's above one of these like water treatment things. And then like a putty shark, like it's just a putty swimming with his little hands above his head like a fin. And there's just two of them circling it.
That's perfect. And the chair's going to be like slowly lowered.
Yeah.
All right. So... yeah, maybe the Mop Man is lowering it, lowering him in, and he gets interrupted by the Power Rangers showing up, and they say something like, "We're gonna take out the trash."
Yeah. We're gonna clean this duty water.
Yeah, and then they fight. Any cool fight moves you want to see that we can write into the script here?
Back handsprings. I mean, that's really all they're doing is like gymnastics.
Yeah.
You got Kimberly doing like a back handspring. Yeah, just jumping flying kicks and all that nonsense.
Yeah, and she can make a pun about like clean spring water.
Ooh, yeah.
And grab him by the handle that's coming out of the back of his head and like spin him around.
Ooh, yeah.
But like clearly when he's spinning him around, like the costume is empty. So he's just like kind of like flailing about.
Perfect.
Is it cholera or dysentery that you get from like drinking bad water?
I think both.
Okay, Nicole said dysentery. She just walked past. If it's cholera, maybe they grab him by the collar and they're like, we're gonna collar ya, and then like dunk the mop in the duty water or one of the putties in duty water.
Cholera, people can get sick when they swallow food or water contaminated with cholera bacteria.
All right, there we go. And then dysentery, we're gonna dysentery your ass, but they can't say ass. Well, screw the dysentery thing. We need like two more puns.
Okay. You'll never read my diarrhea.
Ooh, okay, there you go. Nicole might have a pun. What's up?
No, they're both from drinking water.
Nicole said they're both from drinking water. We found that out, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
She's brushing her teeth right now.
Hopefully not with cholera water.
Right.
Yeah. what's like the water treatment? It's duty. It's got toilet
E.
paper.
coli.
E.
There's gotta be a
coli.
E. coli, I'm gonna like smash you or something.
You can't defeat me, coli.
Okay, I like that.
I like how supportive you guys are of these horrible, horrible puns.
Oh,
All right.
Someone could say, "Oh, it stinks in here. I don't know if it's the trash water or your trash attitude."
That's good.
Ooh,
That's really
yeah.
good. Okay, so then I think that they start, they do these cool moves, but then the mop guy is like, starts slapping them with his little mop hands. And they tumble and they're like, he's getting stronger from the power of pollution.
Yeah, he's raining dirty water on them, and somehow that makes them spark and explode.
Okay, perfect. And then usually like Rita comes in and is like, I got you this time, Power Rangers. and then the mop man gets big.
Well, first I think they have to like beat him with the guns.
Yeah.
Like, first they kind of like fake defeat him, and then inexplicably Rita throws her staff at him and makes him grow.
I think I have, like, maybe they do rescue, one of them goes, it should be like Billy or Jason, goes and rescues the janitor, goes up, takes him down, and he's like, we're getting clobbered out there. And they remove the dirty water rag from his mouth, and he says, reach into my pocket. I have some of my solution, and use that in your weapons, Rangers. And they like squirt gun their weapon, and that's how they use the gun, because again, we need this good, clean fun. What's more clean? And hey, how do we sell more toys? A squirt gun version. As seen in the Mop Man episode, they fire it and he's like, no! And then Rita says, it's not gonna be this time. I'm gonna rain pee-pee on your parade. And then throws it down, make my monster grow. And then they're like, Alpha, we need your help. Let's all pray to God for the biggest Bible we can get. And then they get this big ass Bible and they start fighting with that.
Okay, and that's when they summon their dino guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Dinozords.
And then what do they call the big when they all come together?
The Megazord.
The Megazord. So which part of the Megazord would you want to be? I'm thinking I would want to be like the trunk. I'm like solid, dependable, but I'm not doing much work. I'll be the core.
Yeah. I think a leg would be pretty good because you're not really doing much. The Megazords aren't really known for their kicking, their running. It's just kind of like you just have to stand there. I think I can handle that.
I want to be when they form up with the Titanosaurus, and when that from specific angles, I want to be the long neck of Titanosaurus. Because it looks like
be phallic.
Yeah, it looks like
phallic.
It's a
That's why he's so
dick.
tall. That's why James is tall and lithe. Okay, great. So then they're fighting and they have their giant Bible and they get the best of Mop Man and close him in the big Bible.
Oh, I think this is so. They summon the what do they call the sword in this?
It's Power Sword.
The Power Sword, and
so creative.
They try and swipe into it, but all it does is get like tangled up in Mop Man, and they're like, "It's not helping, Alpha. What should we do?" And Alpha goes, "Ay, pray to the Lord above," and then a big Bible comes down, and they're like, "Oh, this will do the trick." And then they pick it up. Clearly, it's a spell book. And then I'm also realizing in Shadow Hearts, one of the playable characters, their weapon is a Bible. Then they like pick it up and then they open it and then smash them in there. And Mop Man's like, no, clearly a spell is being done, but that we can mask that by the Sentai footage superimposing a very quick, it needs to be a flash light of a cross, and then they get warped into this Bible.
Excellent. Okay. And
Love
then
it.
so it kind of explodes in like a, dirty water type thing, and Mop Man is gone, right?
Yeah.
And so they win the fight. Then we cut back to the school, and the janitor is back, and they're helping. So all of the Power Rangers are helping the janitor clean up this mess, this incredible mess that somehow accumulated from the janitor being gone for mere hours.
And because it's a non-union set, the actors are actually have to force to clean up. Like it's just like part of their job. Like, and they just wrote that into the episode.
And so the janitor is saying something like, oh, and it's like, and this is the best way to get gum off of the underside of a desk or whatever. And maybe Zach is like, wow, I didn't really think about how much work goes into keeping a place like this clean. Maybe a janitor is actually a really important job that we can aspire to.
Love it.
I think at that moment, the janitor says, yeah, it's all in a great day's work. Oh, I forgot to show you how I make my solution that we're going to use to clean up this entire place. And then he pulls out a cage and opens it up, yanks out a possum and just starts like milking it. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then Billy says, chemistry and biology? This dude's pretty cool.
Yes,
More
perfect.
phenomenal.
More phenomenal. Yeah. But then a teacher comes in. A teacher comes in and is like, all right, guys, we just want to let everyone know that the test, it turns out the test results were flawed. We got this test off some really, really sketchy guy was selling them out of the back of his van, and it turns out that the results aren't accurate. So we'll have to find out on a different career day what your actual path is.
So before they get in, we should have, or somewhere in between, we'll have the agent talking to Bulk and Skull saying, oh my God, you guys are chic. You guys are Parisian. I must have you. And they're like, we're going to Hollywood. And then they're like, no. You're going to, what's that big fancy model festival?
Fashion Week?
Yeah, Fashion Week. You're going to Fashion Week in New York or Paris, wherever it's happening. And then it flashes back, and then Bulk and Skull are like, hey, we don't care what the results say. We're going wherever Fashion Week is happening. And they're like, yeah, Skull, yeah, Bulk. And then the janitor says, oh, what are Bulk and Skull's real names?
Eugene Skulovich and something Bulkmeyer. I forget what that's. Mr. Skulovich, you could just do Mr. Skulovich and Mr. Bulkmeyer.
Yeah, the janitor says that. He says, oh, good thing you're here. It's time for your daily hose down. And then he whips out a hose that is attached to the possum, and then just like a blast of milky water, a milk-like substance comes out Double Dare style and blasts them. And they're like, oh, no. And they're like, oh, they're slipping and falling everywhere. And then they get up. They're like, we're not going to be able to go to Fashion Week. This is terrible. And then the agent comes in and says, oh, you guys have changed up your style. Got milk? This must be a comment on consumerism and commercialism in our world today. I love it. Double your salary. And they're like, yeah!
So Bulk and Skull get a win.
Yeah, they actually are being covered in milk. And then the gang looks at each other and goes, ha 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 ha.
Well, yeah, I was thinking, so they would be like, oh, I guess being a janitor is really helpful. And then as soon as they're like, actually, the test results are bogus, so whatever you got is not actually your career path, then the Power Rangers immediately like throw down their mops and like cleaning supplies and go hang out in the juice bar.
Yeah, that's how it should end. Of that, like we see that the milky stuff with Bulk and Skull, then the results were wonky, and then they're like, oh, screw it. down.
Yes. And then I think it should end with them all going,
Yeah.
the end. Perfect. We wrote another episode of TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
baby.
We did it.
I think we really outdid ourselves this time.
Okay. This is the time of testing, whatever the fuck word I'm trying to say. I just wrote an episode of TV with my friends, guys. Give me some slack. Craig, if you were to have turned on the TV, Fox Kids, 1994, and seen this episode, what would you have thought?
I would have absolutely loved it. And I would have been... I would have wanted to know more about the spell book / Bible, but really, I would have wanted to know like where the hell that came from.
Yeah, I think in Power Rangers it wouldn't have been explained in Sentai. So, hey, guess what? Be on the lookout, Shout Factory in 20 years from the time you're watching that. You're going to be like, holy shit, this was a spell book, not a Bible?
Future self is getting his mind blown right now.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
This would have been the episode everyone would be like, remember that weird fucking episode of Power Rangers? Like, here's the top 5 most weird episodes. And then you get through like, oh, here's number 1. This is a weird episode. And then they're like, hey guys, this is episode like 0. Like this is on a completely different level.
Yes.
And like the next episode, Bulk and Skull are just there and like never speak of their like $1 million Fashion Week experience. Like they're just like, that never happened.
Yeah.
But
Perfect.
It did happen in our episode.
It would be called back in a future episode where like they're kind of the main characters-ish. Wasn't there a season when they were more fleshed out and we see like where they live? One of them has a niece or a nephew.
Yeah. Kind of towards Turbo, they got more to do and like actually became characters.
In that, we would go to their house and you would see a picture of them at Fashion Week and they'd be like, remember that? Just covered in possum milk.
Or just like, there's just like a magazine with them on the cover, just casually placed on an end table. And you don't even pay that much attention to it. It's just there.
Yeah.
Dress,
Love it.
setting, whatever. Perfect. Okay. Well, James, how do we end this?
We say, hey, Craig, thank you so much for hopping aboard. Do you have anything to plug?
Well, thank you so much for having me. Just the usual stuff. It Takes Two to Toku on all the social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Yeah, feel free to check it out.
Hell yeah.
Definitely follow Craig. You can see more of his big old guy that he's got.
Insane. You guys, please watch the video. It was like, hey, more boxes in the mail. What could this be? Nicole and I watched that together and we were like, why? How? What are they doing? They don't have that big of a play. Like, did they move?
We really don't.
Yes.
Yeah, nope. It's our tiny apartment.
I did defend it of saying like, well, Elaine and Christina, who worked for my father and would babysit us, they had an apartment about the size of ours with like just one extra room. And in their living room, they had a full suit of armor on display. So nerds do what they want when they get that sweet spending money.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
I did try to win one of those giant Snorlax beanbag chairs.
Hell yeah.
and I was like, where would I put this? Wait, I don't care. I would figure it out. I did not win, though. If you want to listen to more of me, check out my podcast, The Rom Complex. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at R2Shelby2.
Yeah. I just got a CRT TV. That, like a big one. It was in our alleyway, and I've been looking for one. I was like, yes! And it has a VHS player in it, so I'm set. I'm good to go.
Nice.
But head over to MLMpod.com to find out information about my other podcast, Mostly Speaking Sentai. You can listen to Craig over on that and Shelby over on that.
Heck yeah.
Yay.
And then patreon.com/MLMpod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content. Also, these two individuals have been over there as well.
Yeah.
Woo woo.
I'm also a Patreon subscriber.
Yeah.
Craig,
same.
you've been on talking about Beyblade, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Both of them have been on Patreon shows, so check that out. And $10 patrons get exclusive content like what's it called? Straight to Patreon, where we invite friends over for a dinner and a movie. We watch a direct-to-video, a straight-to-video movie, then we casually talk about it. Then I put it right up on Patreon. No editing besides, leveling things out so it's audible for you to hear. It's very fun. We're doing Troll, or I don't know when this is coming out. We've done Troll 2, Ghoulies 3, and the Banana Splits. But you also get shout outs on every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with those, starting with Steve F., Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Alex Z, The Waz, Orion, he's a rapper, Defo, D-F-O, Kayla, aka Two Grapes, Jordan B, the Chaos Witch, my brother-in-law, Joshua, Steve Barnes, my co-host on Sweet Child of Time.
Sweet Child of Time.
Thank you. I need to just write that down. It throws me every time. The womb in which I came out of, umbilical cord wrapped around my neck. Oh, boy, my boy, why is he crying? I wish I had died. My mother. And then finally, Lil Corey's BFF and roommate, Shane. I've been James.
I've been Shelby.
I've been Craig.
And we wrote a script.
Yay!
Uh-huh.
And it was quite more phenomenal, bitch. Indubitably. See you guys.
Okay, bye.
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 Oh, yeah.